my name is Amy. I am the Saint artist that color matched you. If you're watching this video, you should have already got your color recommendations, maybe not your palette yet, in the mail, but when you do, you can just follow along this video for a very quick and easy application. When I say this makeup is so fast and easy, I am not kidding. It's what got me hooked in the first place. I was never a makeup gal, never wore makeup ever. My mom got me this stuff for Christmas. I tried it on and I loved how easy it was. So I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to apply. So these top three are the three colors that you were color matched to. And then this last one is a lip and cheek, which is just a blush and a lipstick combined. You can use them for both, which is really cool. And so this one is the contour color, which I'll go in more detail, but this one's just gonna sculpt and mold our face. And then this is our main shade, so it's the same color as your skin or very similar to your skin, depending on your skincare needs. And then this last one is a brighter shade. This one is our brightening highlight. So this would be the same as concealer in any other makeup industry, but we as Saint artists call it the brightening highlight because these are both highlights. So I always recommend this 3D brush starting out. This should have been the one I recommended for you. It's the one that comes in all of the pre-made compacts that are $20 off. So I try to recommend those over anything else just because you save money, and it also gives you the very basics, the most versatile brush and the very basics of your 3D foundation to start. So all I'm gonna do is show you exactly where to put it, and then I'm gonna blend at the end. That way you can see exactly where, when you're applying your makeup, to put each color. It's like a color by number, and it is so simple. I wanna pause here. If you do have any special needs like melasma or rosacea really bad, that you needed an extra color corrector to buff on prior to doing this, this is where you would start buffering on. And when I say buffer, I'm just gonna show you. So you can skip this step if you don't have any extra color correcting that you were recommended by me. I do have some melasma. I usually honestly don't cover it up. I like my melasma, but for the purpose of this video, I just wanna show you what I mean by buffering. So our highlights are very pigmented. So you just wanna tap in a little bit. We never swipe, we always tap. I have to get a darker shade called Mango. I am a pretty light skinned gal, but because I have melasma, I have to go darker to match the melasma to kind of even out my skin tone before I go on with my main color. So as you can see, I have a little bit on my brush, and when we buffer, we are just gonna lightly swirl on the areas that we need to swirl. And it's just going to kind of bring our skin tone. See how I'm like a little bit more darker there? I don't know. Kind of pulls orange on my skin. If you are regularly mango, it will not pull orange on your skin. It's just if you are not. I'm very fair skinned and cool toned, so this is a warmer color for me. So see how I kind of brought it all pretty close to one color. I'm not gonna do the ones on my cheeks because I really like them. This would also be if you have really dark circles under your eyes and you needed a cover up or a color corrector, excuse me, that is darker than your main shade. So you have to have pretty dark circles. A lot of the time main shades will cover your under eye hyperpigmentation. So I honestly, my main shade does cover these, but just for the purpose of this video again, I would just take the color corrector and place it right on where I have dark pigment. So I do have some blue and some purple right here. As you can see, I'm pretty blue right there. So you would just place it right on. I like to tap it with my finger. You can use a small brush and do this as well. Again, our highlights are very pigmented, so you don't need a ton. And it is gonna pull orange on my skin, like I said, because this is not my color. This is just a darker color that's trying to even out those dark hyperpigmentations, so then we can go in with our main shade, okay? That is just for the people that were recommended an extra color corrector. So it's the same as rosacea. If you have rosacea on your cheeks really bad and you were given like June is a good one that we always give to rosacea people. You would just buffer on June on your cheeks. Oh, that had mango, but you just buffer it on your cheeks to kind of bring your skin tone down all to one, kind of layer it out, even it out, and then we'll go in with the rest of the stuff, okay? Oh, again, if you do not have a color corrector, you can skip all that step, and this is where we would start, okay? So this is where I typically start with my makeup. We always use, I personally always start with contour with our basic shades if I'm not doing a color corrector, because this is kind of the map for the rest, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So there are 4 lines that we put contour. This is not counting nose contour. We're skipping nose contour today. But with contours, they are a little bit more dry, so you can put a little bit of pressure and tap it in. And then the first line that we always do is our forehead. If you have a small forehead already, skip this step. You don't need it. This is just for people that kind of want to minimize their forehead, because contour is darker. Darkness minimizes, it shrinks, it levels down. So if you're wearing a black shirt, or say you want to look thinner, a lot of the time you'll wear darker colors, or like black dresses. You know, people always wear black dresses to appear thinner. That's all contour is gonna do. It's gonna sculpt and mold our face. Number 2 is going to be on our cheek. So I'm gonna take my brush and I just pat it in sideways, so it's on half of my brush. Then we are just going to find our cheekbone and press in. So you can see mine right there. A lot of people have a natural shadow, so we kind of want to cup our cheekbone. So we're just gonna press in right under that cheekbone with that makeup, and then blend up, which we'll do more blending later. I do kind of want to leave it on there so you can see exactly where everything is. So again, on this side, you're just gonna cup where that cheekbone is, and we always blend up and back. And you wanna start the closest to your hairline. That way it's darker and gets lighter. So just rule of thumb. If you don't have a natural shadow, or if you feel like you can't feel your cheekbone, that is for some people. Some people, it's really hard to feel their cheekbone. So all you have to do is look for this corner on your ear and create an imaginary line to the corner of your lip. And then you don't want to go any further than your eye. So kind of keep it in this little dimension. And that's where you're going to put it. And then the 4th line is just going to be from our earlobe to our other earlobe. So I swoop down and up, and then I go back down. And then I always pull down whatever is extra down my neck. If you have a different color neck from your face, or a different shade, you can put a little bit more on and create a little darker shade on your neck to match your face. You can also do that with bronzer. But another thing to keep note of, if you have like some saggy skin on your jaw right here, you can kind of swoop your contour right along that line, and it's going to create a shadow, and it's going to make your jaw look a little bit more sharp and take that away. So just tip. But yeah, contour is really made to sculpt, mold our face, so lifts our cheekbones, minimize our foreheads. And then the second color I go in, so I flip my brush over to the other side, this like cone side, and I always do my brightener next. With that being said, if you don't have to do it in this order, okay? So you can do your main shade now, or you can do your brightening shade now. Really, you can do it in any order you would like. I always do contour, brightener, and then main shade. The only time I would do main shade before brightener is today I color corrected under my eyes, but I do like to put my main shade underneath my eyes before I go in with my brightener, just because my brightener does not cover up that hyperpigmentation. So I need something to cancel out that color before I go in with that brighter color. So we're gonna take our brush, we're just gonna tap it in to our brightener. And this is gonna go in the areas that we really just want to pop. So I put it on, or in between my eyebrows, down my nose, on my Cupid's bow. And then since I am getting older, I am getting wrinkles and I am getting more hyperpigmentation, I don't swoop it all the way under my eye anymore because that is really gonna pull out your wrinkles. So what you can do instead is just do a little dab in the center to kind of brighten. And then you can also, oops, yeah, okay, put it in the right one. So you can do a little dab in the center and then also on the outside corner to help lift your eyes up a little bit. And I'm gonna do that same over here. If you do not have any wrinkles underneath here, you can just swipe it underneath. And then the last thing, so we have our contour, our 4 lines, we have our little tree and inside and outside of our eyes. And then the last thing is our main shade. So this is the color of our skin. Again, I'm just gonna tap. Do not swipe because you will pick up way too much makeup. That's when people start to complain about it looking cakey, is when they have too much in. If you have the right colors, you should not need that much makeup to put on your skin. So I am going to put my main shade everywhere else that doesn't have color. And I will show you where that is for me. So I usually have a spot in between there, all in this area. I don't go right above my contour because that's where I'm gonna put my blush, but everywhere else you can go. And you can also use this as a primer for eyeshadow if you would like as well. Okay, the last thing is our lip and cheek. I like to blend out my 3D foundation before putting in my lip and cheek just because our lip and cheeks are so pigmented. Sometimes it'll get on my brush and I'll swirl it on my nose or something will happen. So I just wait and finish, or I put this on after I already have blended everything else. So when you blend, you're just gonna take that more compacted end that we did our contour with, and you're gonna start with the lightest shade, just pressing it in to your skin like this, and then moving towards the next shade, which would be our main shade. So first start with the brightener, the brightening shade with our tree, inside of our eyes. Sometimes I like to pat here. If you have a color corrector underneath your brightening shade on your eyes, be very careful. You wanna make sure that you are not swiping, you're just pressing it in exactly where it needs to be. And then you are just going to move to your main shade. So my main shade was where I put everything else. The reason why I do it this way is because then I'm not pulling darker colors into the lighter color areas. We have the colors exactly where we want them. And so I try to keep them there. And we just stipple. You can swipe a little bit. Swiping is not like forbidden. It's just you don't want to do some like crazy swipes that are going to move your color to a completely different spot. So for contour, I already kind of blended my contour on my forehead, but you really always want to make sure that you're blending it up to your hairline. And then in between your contour and your brightener, you can do like a little swirl to kind of blend it, a little swipe. I know I just told you not to swipe, but this one place you can do, you can swipe because our contours are a little bit more rough or dry, I should say. And so they do require a little bit more pressure when blending. And then for contours, when we are blending our cheekbones, we just are really going to blend up. So up, if you go down, you're just gonna pull your cheekbones down. It's gonna kind of defeat the whole purpose. So we're blending them up. You can get anywhere else. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is our lip and cheek. My eyebrow is driving me crazy, sorry. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is our lip and cheek. This one's Desert Sunset. It's one of my faves for like everyday makeup. And all you're gonna do is just tap in your lip and cheeks very light again. I mean, so pigmented, so very light. Do not swipe. If you swipe your lip and cheeks, you're gonna have like so much color. It's gonna be very dramatic. So very light, these things last forever. You're gonna find the apple of your cheek and you're just gonna press it up like that, up the contour line. So right above that contour line, you're gonna put your blush. And then I have extra pigment on my brush, so I'm gonna do the same thing, but on this side. And then I just kind of blend out. These shades, right now I look like a clown, I know. Every time I put this on, I kind of like lose my breath because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so bold. Give them a few minutes and they will die down, I promise. I promise. For the last 3 years, I've had to remind myself every time I put it on. It does take a couple minutes to really set into your skin, and then it will not be as bold, okay? And so while we let that set in, I'm just gonna add that lip and cheek to my lips. And so this is a gloss. We also have mattes. I should have sent you whatever you recommended in your color match that you, or your preference was in your color match. But that is it. And then see how it's already toned down so much. You can just swipe again with the blush. You don't want to swipe down. If you do accidentally swipe down and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? I pulled it down. All you have to do is grab your brush, get your main shade, tap, tap, and then just clean it up like that. And then make sure you're blending up. So that is just the very basics. This video ended up being longer than I wanted to, but I really did want to go over color correcting at the beginning in case that is something that you needed correction for. So that is it. Again, if you have any questions at all, please reach out. You can private message me on Instagram, or email honestly is the best, because sometimes my Instagram filters my messages if I'm not like friends with you right away to archived. So emailing will for sure get your message to me, but again, feel free to message me on both if you would like. Have a great rest of your day.